going, everybody? Level M Diecast. Matchbox on tap today. Tons of multi-pack. We have a multi-pack unboxing madness to do today. A little bit of everything. We got action launchers, 5-packs. I got a tube gift set. And then I even have some Hitch and Toes, some original, well, not original Hitch and Toes, 2005 Hitch and Toes. But we're going to start off with this one right here. This is the action launcher set that I have picked this up at the Gathering. All this stuff I picked up at the Gathering. This was $20, which is a pretty average going price. You can tell Hero City era. This was a very, very different time for Matchbox. Very interesting looking details in there. Nothing particularly fancy on the back, but just wanted to showcase the back. So it does showcase this plane, but it shows with the Isuzu Amigo, which of course is not in this particular set. So we'll go ahead and get this cracked open. It's very thick. These action launcher sets were pretty big. So get this one cracked open. There we go. It's easy to pop the one side. You can tell how old this is by how yellowed the front one is. Look how yellowed this one is versus how clear this back one is. So it's Hero City era, so 2003 into 2004 era. So we'll get the cover piece off of there. We'll talk about the plane here in a second. So first model up right here, of course, is our ATV. It does have a little bit of print on the back for the rider, which is kind of a rescue with a paw print on there. Some type of animal rescue, I'm assuming, is probably the theme here. There is a little logo on the gas tank. The driver is removable, so you can take the driver off if you want to. Nothing particularly fancy on the base there. 1998 is when this was a new casting, so we'll put this one, I guess we'll just put it here. All right, next one we'll take a look at. This is the generic camper truck, and yes, it does have a moving feature. Little actuator there at the bottom. Opens up the side door. That's pretty cool. This one has an elephant on the side. Says AR0003. That is not the man number, nothing like that. It does have a tow hitch on the back. Another shot at the details on this side. Again, the decals are, man, it's just, this was just a different era of Matchbox. You know, this is how Mattel was trying to kill the brand. And they were doing a pretty bang up job doing it too. Not gonna lie. So this is the height of the dark era, or dark ages, the 2002 to 2004 era. Delivery truck, one of the better things to come out of that kind of general area. Actually, this casting debuted in 1999, but this casting was used extensively during that time. Just a generic cab over. I think it looks good. It looks like a typical delivery truck. Sticker on the side says Inbox AR0001. This one has a lion on the side. Does have opening doors in the back. Nothing of particular interest in there, but it does open up. And then just this side too. Again, just a sticker on the side. Metal body, metal base, but of course the entire delivery box is of course plastic. So we'll get that one in there. All right, next one up. This is the generic dune buggy. This is also a casting from '98. This is actually one of the best dune buggies they've ever done. This one says Inbox AR0004. So at least they have some consistency in the numbering. It does come with an antenna. You just pull the antenna out like that, and then of course it'll work its way up eventually. But to have storage facilities, or storage purposes, I should say, just put it right underneath the light bar. It's a pretty good casting. The base is metal. The rest of it's all plastic. I really like this dune buggy. Engine details in the back look pretty good. This was retooled to, of course, to get rid of the antenna shortly after this. So no big deal there. So that guy on the bottom. And then the last one in the pack. Get this out of here. This is a casting that's really not been used hardly at all. Matter of fact, this casting I think has only been used 4 or 5 times in its whole existence. I only actually have 2 of them in the personal collection. This is the Icebreaker. This is the Icebreaker boat casting. It does have an opening little piece here on the back. So you open that up, and then you can see the details to the engine, which is part of the base. And it does snap in there, which is pretty good. It's actually a really good looking boat for its scale. Looks pretty decent. This one has a rhino on the side. This one is unit number 2. So they do have unit numbers for all of these. Little red wheels on there. Now, as far as the plane right here, these are all stickers that are added onto there. This is a launcher, so there is the deets inside. You pull this little piece back, you put the model in there, and then you push down on the little tail fin here. Maybe. It's supposed to. I guess this one doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. Shot out of there really crazy. Shot out of there so fast I didn't even see it. So, man, it's very finicky. It's very finicky, but it works. They've done some better ones of this plane, but it's a giant piece. I honestly, instead of this plane, I would have liked to have just a couple more models in there, but then again, it wouldn't be an action launcher if you didn't have an action launcher. So I don't keep the action launchers, I just keep the models. So that'll go somewhere at some point, someday. I don't know when, but eventually. All right, I do have one 2-pack. This is a Easter 2-pack, Easter 3-pack. That's a tube pack. Very interesting. The tube idea was an interesting thing they did in the early 2000s. I'm not sure if it was sparked by maybe they thought it was less peg space, but they were pretty much only sold at Target. So you wanted a tube, you could get them from Target. So we'll just go ahead and cut the 2 pieces of tape off the top. The little cap that comes off the top, there's a little rabbit on the top. This is just a piece of plastic. It does say Matchbox on it though. It's actually a decent thing. So you slide the tube out. It's just plastic. The car's just sitting in a little thing, and then of course you just have insert in there. Nothing particularly fancy. This is just landfill material. Now you can use this as like a bank if you wanted to, but to me it's just landfill material. So we'll just get this out of here. We bought it for the models. These are the 3 models included in there. First one right here. Now, I will tell you the one thing about these tubes. Some of these models are very difficult to get out of the plastic. Some of them are simple, but some of them were like just, sometimes I wonder how they got them in there. They're very, 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 very tight inside the packaging here. So there we go. Get those out of there. First one is, of course, the Volkswagen panel. That rabbit looks creepy. Looks definitely creepy on the side. Not really sure who approved that artwork, but that rabbit looks very, very creepy to me. So a little bit of rabbits eggs on the top there, just to go with the Easter theme. And of course, it's got an Easter themed colors. It's got a green interior, orange base, blue body. It's pretty straightforward, but just a version that I didn't have, so we're gonna throw that in there. My shelf seems to be a little bit crooked on the back side. Apologize about that. Next one up is, of course, the Econoline panel van. This is the actual panel van with no additions on it. More eggs on the top. Looks like another rabbit. This one's definitely not creepy. Uses the ugly flower wheels, though. Base seats right there. So, it's a pretty good one. The van was a little small. I think they should have made it just a little bit bigger. And it has no interior. Never has an interior. Never has had an interior. So, throw that guy there. And the last one is the billboard truck, straight out of the Hero City era. Yeah, it's super ugly. It's super ugly. Uses the crown wheels. Not a fan of those either. They did not have good wheel designs during this time. That one looks good. Just a chicken cracking out of the egg. But probably not good that it's cracking out of an egg that's been colored. So maybe you should use eggs that are not going to produce life. Just saying. Just a thought. So we'll throw the billboard truck up there in purple, blue, and yellow, which is very interesting. All right, I am continuing my pursuits of these licensed 5-packs. I got quite a few of these. I got 4 of these actually to go over, so we have quite a number. This one right here is the Hanna-Barbera one. Has Tom and Jerry, Jetsons, Yogi Bear, Flintstones, all that good stuff like that. So we'll get this one cracked open. There we go. The corners are taped, so sometimes when you try to pull it off, it just says, nope, not going to do it. All right, starting from the top with Hanna-Barbera, we do have ourselves Tom and Jerry on the Viper. Uses these small lace wheels all the way around, which is weird, but different, I guess. Silver color, red window. Red window is a very, very interesting choice. There is the deets on the side with, of course, Tom and Jerry. Looks good. Looks good. It's very simple compared to most of them, but it's not too bad, too shabby. And then just a gray base on there, looking average. They got to put, you know, the copyright on there because they have a licensed sort of deco on there. All right, Huckleberry Hound. This is a cartoon I never watched once in my life, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. But it looks good on the 56 Ford. White base on this one, and then of course purple. Those super ugly flower wheels. I absolutely despise those wheels. It says Ford embossed in the back. So now they still make this casting, but it was shrunk down quite a bit. So the casting we get nowadays is significantly smaller. And of course, this one has a yellow interior in there, which I think is very interesting. All right, a very, very plain casting right here. This is your Hummer H2. This also does not have an interior. It uses the crown wheels. The crown wheels don't look that bad on the Hummer, but the casting is just terrible. This is for the Flintstones. It is orange with a blue base. No prints on the front and rear or anything like that. Just basically Fred and Barn right there on the side. Looking average. For some reason, Barney didn't get any prints on his eyes on either side. I'm pretty sure he had eyeballs, but I'm not really sure why they did that, but always fun to point those things out. All right, next one up is the Volkswagen Microbus concept for the Jetsons. I think that kind of fits this one. This particular thing never came out, although the ID Buzz that just came out is very similar to this one. So, and it looks pretty cool. It's a cool little bus, even though it's an EV. It's cool. So Jetson's on there. You got George Jetson. There's Elroy, or maybe that's the kid. I don't know, one of those two. Judy, and then his wife, Jane, I think is her name. So, it's pretty cool. It's cool. It's exactly the same deco side to side, yellow window, light blue base with a dark blue body. This particular model was tons of blues. Lots of releases for that was in shades of blue or tints of blue. For some reason, blue was a big deal for that one. All right, we do have another one of these generic camper vans, like we saw right there. It's another one right here. This one uses the saw blade wheels, which looks way better on it than those 4-dot dome wheels. Those are terrible wheels too. This one looks way better for, of course, Yogi Bear. Yogi Bear standing in Jellystone Park or Yellowstone Park, one of the two. Prints are pretty average. This print looks a little bit better on this one than the other ones. It's a little bit better quality. Still has the same opening door, which works very, very well. Tow hitch on the back on the brown base. No prints on the top, front or back. This is actually a really good generic camper, though. I really do like this generic camper. They also used it for some emergency stuff, and they put a light bar on it. That was meh. It was meh, but it was all right. All right, Nickelodeon SpongeBob SquarePants. They did a ton of Nickelodeon stuff in the late 2000s. Just a ton of Nickelodeon 5-packs. It's just crazy. This one I just didn't have. It's just a pretty standard SpongeBob 5-pack. Nothing particularly fancy. Very interesting choice on some of the castings, though. So we'll get this hopefully out of here. There we go. I like to make this as brutal as possible sometimes, you know, because 5-packs nowadays are so much easier to open than they were back in the day. All right, kicking this off, this is our 55 Chevy for Patrick. The flower wheels don't look actually that bad on this casting. I'm not a fan, but they don't look horribly bad. The base is ridiculously bright. It doesn't even do justice on the camera. That pink base is ridiculously bright. It says Patrick on there. It's the same deco on both sides. Normal colored window, which is nice, but a kind of an aqua interior. So it's very interesting, the crazy colors that they went through to differentiate these 5-packs, which, I mean, it's fine, but like everything had to be a different color, like every little bit. All right, another Volkswagen panel van for good old SpongeBob himself. He's catching himself some jellyfish with his dog, his snail dog. Forget the snail's name. But there's the details on the other side. The prints look pretty good. SpongeBob looks pretty good. So, not too shabby. Flower wheels on this one. Yellow base, blue body, and kind of an aqua interior as well. Kind of a. It's pretty much the exact same color as the 55 Chevy. So, put that one there. This is a very interesting choice for this pack. This is the Model T. Yep. This is a 21 Model T. This was an original, look at that, this casting was originally in 1989. I believe this pack is like 2006, 2007. I should have looked at the date. But it's just very interesting they decided to use this casting, because these are proprietary wheels. They only go on this casting, so I feel like the production costs would have been really high, but maybe they needed to do something that's old like Squidward to make up for, you know, his ridiculousness that he is. But it's okay. Again, the top has to be a different color. It is metal, so this is metal, this is metal. But for some reason they made the top a different color. Blue fenders on there. There's no interior. It's just the white body. And then typically that front piece is chromed out, but no chrome on this one. So very, very interesting. Very interesting choice. That casting for me is just a very interesting choice. So is this. So is this. The Dodge Dakota, which this casting was actually going to be released as a premium right at the end of the premium line. It was going to be Series 22, I think, or maybe, no, Series 23. It was going to be sport trucks or hot trucks, and that was right when they were canceling it. So I'm curious if there's a pre-pro that existed of this particular one, all done up in premium deco. That would have been super cool. But this is a really cool casting. Has crazy suspension. Still had the suspension on this one. This one for Sandy. She's got Texas on there because I guess that's her home state or whatever. Blue for the roll cage, yellow interior, orange, like a darker orange base. Again, everything has to be a separate color. Not really sure why they do that. And then, of course, it's a yellow tinted window as well. But really happy. This is one of the coolest deck castings from Matchbox ever. I just think it's so cool that they did an 80s Dakota. It's just cool. Okay. All right, last one in that particular pack. This is your international armored car. So there's the international logo in the front there, but the casting's just not very crisp. This is for, of course, Mr. Krabs. He's all about the money. He wants the Benjamins. Prints look really good. It's a really crisp print. Very, very nice print on the side. Vivid colors. I mean, everything looks really, really good. This is a good casting. Now, this casting's still made to this day, but it's a plastic body now. This is still die cast, you know, back when it was new. Saw blade wheels look good on this casting. Never minded the saw blade wheels on it. There's your base deets. Nothing particularly fancy. But again, another really good casting from the late 90s when they were making tons of real stuff, which was super, super cool. All right, another Nickelodeon 5-pack. This one's very cool, though, because it just goes through several different characters. It's not just SpongeBob, although we still have SpongeBob in there. So we'll get this one cracked. There we go. This one wasn't as brutal. You'll notice there are a lot of similar castings to all these packs because, you know, that's just the way that they were rolling back then. Really weird that they chose to do the Elgin Street Cleaner. This is an actual licensed model, by the way. It just says Street Cleaner on there, but it is licensed. It has those two moving features. Then, of course, it has the whole moving front bucket. I don't even know how this casting was approved because this thing just has a ridiculous amount of moving parts, which is cool, though. Hey Arnold, I've seen that show a couple of times. It was okay. So I think the chick on that show had some secret crush on him, and she made like a bubblegum shrine of him, his head or something. I don't know. It's creepy stuff from Nickelodeon. Rugrats looks pretty good. There's Stewie, Chucky, and sorry about that, guys. The camera cut out on me. That's very, very interesting. So Jimmy Neutron. This is the rocket transporter, as we mentioned. It is specifically designed to hold the rocket, so it has little notches in there. They don't like notch into it, so you see if you push it over, but when it's sitting down on the ground, it will stay straight up. The two rocket bits go together just like this. Nothing particularly fancy. Been like that forever, and then they do perfectly fit side by side. You put one rocket bit in there, and you put the other rocket bit. They fit in there perfectly fine. It's actually a very, very nicely designed piece. So it's actually really cool. And they also made a fighter jet as well that goes on the back. So it was a pretty cool one. They used that quite a bit. Not super great, but quite a bit. All right, this one right here is your Chevy El Camino. This is for rocket power. Never watched this show in my life. I don't know nothing about this show. This does have a metal base. This casting was kind of here and there. The ones that were made in China seem to be metal bases for the most part, which was kind of differentiated from the ones that were made in Thailand and other places. So kind of interesting. So this one's pretty heavy. It's actually relatively like normally decoed up. Yellow interior is a little weird, but just a basic clear window, lace wheels on there. Lace wheels look good. And then just a regular gray base, which looks really good for the bumpers, which is always nice. So throw that guy up there. All right, another 5-pack. We got the Penguins of Madagascar. This one's significantly newer than the rest. So this one will have a completely different ensemble of castings, although we still have our Hummer in here. Now, at this point in time, these were way higher budget than the ones we've been seeing. These packs were $10 a piece. See, look, it was $10.99. So these packs were expensive. So you're going to get definitely way more prints and all that good stuff like that. But the quality is not necessarily going to be that great. 2011 is the date on here. So this is just on a blister. It's got a card on the front. We'll pull those off. The first one we'll take a look at, this is the Jungle Crawler for, of course, the Penguins themselves. This is that super high quality kind of inkjet slash almost like hydroformed deco. This is the same kind of stuff that Hot Wheels does with their car culture line. So the exact same style of printing and decoing is exactly what you get here. No real riders though, no rubber tires, nothing like that. And the decos are still relatively simple. And the colors are all the way over the place. Just all the way over the place. Just out of control with the colors. This is your generic 4x4, kind of rescue 4x4. It says popularity of famous penguins on the side. I don't know anything about that. But there you go. I think I've watched this movie once. Maybe once. But this one's kind of cool just with the orange window. You get the orange lights in the front. That's kind of cool. But they still make this casting too, although this casting's been modified as well. This was recently in, I think, a 5-pack as a re-release deco, but they updated the casting, so always nice to get something different with that. The Ford Bronco, 1972 Ford Bronco, looking very, very good. It says time on the side, because of course it's Penguin time. Looks okay. Yellow, it's got a blue interior, orange print on the wheels, tow hitch on the back, Ford embossed on the back as well. Not too bad. I like this Ford Bronco. I think that's a cool casting. It's definitely different. All right, another Hummer. This one gets print on the windows, which is very interesting. Now, that is actually printed with the window in there. So it's printed with the window in the body, not separate. So that's why it looks a little bit weird. But as long as you get it at the right angle, it makes sense. So purple with a purple base, a black window. Same details on the other side. It's exact same print. No prints on the back or the front. And, of course, the red chrome for the details on the wheels. All right, next one up, we do have ourselves our Desert Thunder V16 casting. I really wish would come back. I really wish they'd bring this casting back. Dakar off-roader, looking very, very good. There is the details on the side there. Nice big area to print on. Again, really nice quality prints on there. You can see how smooth and clean it is. Just like Hot Wheels Car Culture. There's a tow hitch on the back, although it's really small, so you can't really hook anything to it. And then a couple spare tires, lots of details on the top. Really cool casting. Really, really like this casting a lot. I really wish that one could come back. And it's a generic, so they could easily bring that back. And they should. All right, moving on to some Hitch and Hauls. These are some of the original Hitch and Hauls that came back when Hitch and Haul came back. These are 2005. So this comes with the Chevy Silverado and the horse trailer, the original horse trailer. That harkens all the way back to the Lesney era. So get this out of here. Comes with a bunch of accessories like they normally do. Don't particularly care about the accessories. So we'll get the truck out of here. Comes with a cowboy with a pistol, some cactus, another kind of cactus right there. You do have a wolf. And then that's pretty nice. Pretty cool cowboy on his horse. It's all one piece. He does have a lasso up there. I'm not really sure what he's lassoing. Maybe he's going to lasso the wolf. Very interesting, but if that's what he wants to do, I guess that's okay. I'll get this out of here. There is our Silverado. They've also done a 4-wheel drive lifted version of this. This uses the flower wheels. They don't look bad here. The deco looks pretty good. I like the horseshoe on it. There's no suspension. This is a fixed casting. There's the base deets right there, made in China. Chevy Silverado 1999. And then there is the horse trailer. It does not come with horses in the back. So, and you can't even put that horse in there because there's a rider on it. But there's the details on the side. It's matching, which looks nice. There's the details. It even says Matchbox series on it still. Super fast. So you can tell just how old school that particular one is. And of course, it matches and looks good. The tongue base is the same color as the truck. So that's a pretty cool combination. So we'll kind of set this one kind of there. It's going to be a little off the camera. That's just the way it's going to be. All right, another one right here. This one is called Monster Movie. Another one of those generic campers in the light truck. $20. Man, I got a deal on this one, but I still paid like $15 for it. But man, some of these older Hitch and hauls are they're not easy to find. Ah, really? All right, so this one has the little stupid plastic zippy on there. There we go. All right. So this one is not meant to be like aliens or none of that. There is like the creature of the lagoon right there. And then, of course, there's a caveman who's trying to attack him with a trident. He's definitely going to lose. But then you do have a filmmaker, which is kind of cool. He's got his own camera. The camera and the figure are two separate pieces. So if you wanted to pose them up, you could. All right, first one up is the light truck. So Action Cinema on the side. MB548, that, of course, is the man number for this one. Details on the side look pretty good. I like all the details on there. Now this is a light truck, clearly. So you have a thing that goes up and you have a one-stage boom, which is actually inside. It's very weird. It's kind of opposite of what you expect. But then you'd have a nice light, and it's pretty tall. Now this is for whatever design to where you could like link them together. So there's a tow hitch in the front and there's a tow hitch in the back. And you could like link a bunch of these together, or put it in between something. It's kind of an interesting design. I'm not really sure why they designed it like that, but I mean it works. And then of course here is the generic camper van 417. That is your man number right there. Details on the base. Still has the opening piece. So works good. No details front or back, but again looks better with the saw blade wheels. So throw that guy down there. So 3 of those. One more hitch and haul. This is for Speed Bump. So this is one of the like original ones from 2005. Like originally from Kohl's for $3.99. $3.99. You can barely get one single moving parts car for that price nowadays. 20 years later, you can only get one car for the price of this entire pack of what it sold for back then. Isn't that ridiculous? So we'll get this out of here. Most of these pieces have already fallen out of this one. So this one is all held in by rubber bands, so that's why. Comes with a couple of generic cones, but they do stack, so you can use them for actual cones if you wanted to. We'll get the tow truck out of there. We'll get the limo out of there. Comes with a stop sign that's all bent up because you crashed into it, and that's why you need to be towed away. So it's a stop on one side, and it's double-sided, so that looks pretty good. Also comes with a mechanic. There's your mechanic. Details look all right for as small as he is. He's printed up okay. And then, of course, the guy that crashed, presumably the guy that crashed the limo. There he is right there. Kind of reminds me of Bill Clinton for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But anyways, there is our generic limo. This is a straight out of like 2001. So it's kind of interesting. There's a little bit of a print on the side for like the lights. That looks like it might glow in the dark maybe. Not really sure. It's actually got print on the taillights, which is very interesting. Very interesting. And prints on the headlights. I wonder if those glow in the dark. They were doing a lot of glow in the dark stuff in the early 2000s, and I'm wondering if maybe those are glow in the dark. I don't know. I'll have to find out. And then of course just the regular tow truck right here. It's you can tell it's a generic, but it's not that bad. The deco on this one's actually pretty nice. So you see your Adlar details right there. So this is a Michael Halda design, which he probably did the limo too. This one uses the crown wheels, which work on this casting. I think the crown wheels look good on this one. But other than that, just pretty basic details. So not too shabby. Rex Winter or Rex something, little hieroglyph in the back to decipher as you wish. The last two items right here, they're kind of a treat. They're kind of a treat. And I was going to do a separate video for this, but I've been looking for this set for a little while. I don't particularly care for the Sky Buster, but I collect all these, and this is actually, I really like this casting a lot. The original Ford Transit, well, not the super fast version truck, but the 96 one. So this is the JCB promo pack. It's the G3 gift pack. So we'll get this slid out of here. So this pack has lived its whole life connected together, and now I am going to break it up because that's just how I do. So it does have a rescue helicopter in there, just says JCB on the side. The tail fin spins around, of course, the top fin, as we already saw. And then there is your base deets. It does have a scale on there, so this is based on a real helicopter. It looks okay. A lot of different versions of this, and of course the collapsible wing as per usual. So we'll put this guy, I guess we'll just put him on the bottom. And of course it's JCB, which means construction, which means we got to have some kind of construction equipment. Now this one's interesting because this is a sticker. It's a sticker that goes all the way around. It's just a plain yellow printed Atlas excavator, but the sticker goes all the way around. So you got to make sure that the sticker stays stuck. But it just says JCB, JCB, and of course JCB. Nothing particularly fancy, but it is exclusive to the pack. So not too shabby. I think that one deserves to be up here in the top. So we'll put him there. And then, of course, our 96 Transit Site Shop Service, JCB. Looks good. Little details on the front as well. Of course, it's right-hand drive, as you'd expect. We did not have this era of the Transit van available in the U.S. at all. And then the last one that's in here is a Learjet. This particular one is the... it's literally called the Learjet. Okay, all right. Well, maybe I got something right for a change. JCB on there. Gift set JCB. It's okay. It's okay. JCB on the side of the plane right there. So I don't do Skybusters. Not going to happen. So I'll see if somebody wants that. Somebody who actually does Skybusters, and you know, if they're more of a completist. And as a matter of fact, they could probably just have the whole display case here, because I'm not going to keep it. So I'll get that in there. There we go. Put. Go. Nothing particularly fancy on the back. Just shows some like real life versions of the models that are in here that look way better than the models that are in here. But it's good. It's good. 1987 Matchbox. All right. Now, if you stuck around till the end of this ridiculous long video, because all my videos seem to be ridiculously long, I got a treat for you. This is my very first Intercom City. As a matter of fact, this is like one of the first times I've ever seen Intercom City even for sale. And they're extremely difficult to find. They are super, super rare. And I'm just really, really stoked to actually have some for a change. And I got one of the cooler packs. Not the coolest pack. I really want this one right here, the utility pack. That's the one I want the most, because that's like my favorite Matchbox casting ever. And I don't have that one. That one's pretty cool. The guy I bought this one did have this one, but these have like a weird, like fluorescent paint finish to them. They're way brighter than what it shows on this picture, and all the paint was coming off, and it was cracking, and it's just degradation from time, which is unfortunate. So, and of course, you know, they're made in China, so not exactly the greatest quality. There is the detail on the bottom, nothing particularly fancy. I thought maybe there'd be a date on there. It doesn't look to have a date, but I do believe these were late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there. So we'll grit this open up. It's a very interesting pack. So they're in there loose. And I actually had to put these back in there when I bought this. So the crane truck is at the top. Not really sure if that's where it goes, but that's where I put it. So as you open it up, you see the two trucks, the two Peterbilts. So we'll pull out this Peterbilt. We'll pull out the other Peterbilt. And then there's a little cardboard insert. And then when we pull that out, then we can get the crane out of there. Cardboard insert goes back in. There we go. So, and I'm not even going to try to put this back into the box. I don't really care. All right, we're going to start with our first one right here. This, of course, is the Peterbilt tanker. They are the exact same castings that are in everything else. It's just the bases that are different. And the bases have these kind kind of electronic readers here on the bottom, where it scans the modules. So as you see here, see how the line spacing's differently? It's basically the same type of technology as like barcode readers in a sense, and each one of these is different for each vehicle, and each vehicle is going to have its own set parameters of voices or sounds that go with it. But that's how it reads, and just as you go across the reader, it just reads it and then displays the sounds and does the communications. It's very simple, but a very interesting technology to see on diecast, which is very, very interesting. Intercom City on the side. Other than that, we've seen shell tankers pretty much close to the same deco. That it does sit very, very close to the ground, that little reader, because that's the way it works. And then black base, there's no chrome on the base, probably to make sure that there's no interference with the barcode reading. And then of course the Pace dump truck. So exactly the same, just has the Intercom City logo on there, still dumps, still does what it should do. There's the base deets, and of course they changed the bases to have Intercom City logo on there. See, 1991. So this was a pretty interesting technology for diecast. It really was back in the day. It really, really was. Now this one's a little bit exclusive. It does have the orange body here, which says Intercom City. You could not get that orange body anywhere else, although this came with a black boom and a yellow body for pretty much everything else. But it was exclusive, and I think it looks good. So I do like it, and of course it's the Fawn crane truck, so it does all the things that crane trucks do. So we didn't lose any functionality to it. And of course there's the same deet. So just reads it like a barcode. Just reads it like a barcode. So we'll throw this guy down there. Let's see here. Maybe in the corner right here. See a little bit of it. So there you go. That is the mega haul. Not really sure why the camera cut out in the middle of the video. I do apologize about that, but it is what it is. But drop a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Sorry for there's just long videos. I don't want to break these up into like a bazillion different videos because I think that's just pointless. So I just give them to you all in a haul and just roll from there. So let me know what you think about that. Drop a comment. Always happy to bring Matchbox to the channel. I still got a lot more stuff to go, and we'll see you next time here on Level In. Peace!